Have you ever felt like your dreams are impossible? Like the world is too big, your problems are too many, and your hopes are too small? This is the story of a woman who felt the same. Her name is J.K. Rowling. Before she became one of the most famous writers in the world, Rowling's life was full of struggles. She faced poverty, rejection, and moments when she wondered if her dream of writing stories would ever come true. She was a single mother, living in a small apartment, sometimes unsure how she would pay for her next meal. But even in the hardest times, she held on to one thing: her love for stories. She imagined magical worlds, children learning bravery and friendship, and a young boy named Harry Potter. That imagination became her hope. This story is not just about a writer. It is about courage, patience, and never giving up. It is about falling down many times and standing up again. It is about how small steps, taken every day, can grow into something amazing. As you listen, remember this: life may feel heavy sometimes, your dreams may feel far away. But, like J.K. Rowling, you can take one small step, one word, one sentence, one action. Every step brings you closer to the life you imagine. Now let's go back to the very beginning, when J.K. Rowling was just a little girl with big dreams and a notebook full of stories that no one had read yet. Chapter 2. Childhood Dreams. J.K. Rowling was born in a quiet town in England. As a little girl, she loved the smell of books and the feeling of turning each page. She could sit for hours reading stories about faraway lands, brave heroes, and magical adventures. Books were not just words on paper for her. They were windows to another world. Even at a young age, Rowling had a rich imagination. She did not just read stories, she made her own. She invented characters, adventures, and magical places in her mind. Sometimes she would tell her sister these stories aloud, making up new worlds while they played in their small home. When she was 6 years old, Rowling created her first little book. It was handwritten, filled with drawings, and made especially for her sister. It told the story of a young girl who went on an adventure, met strange creatures, and learned important lessons. She was proud of it, even though it was small and simple. That book was her first step toward becoming a writer, though she did not know it at the time. Her teachers noticed her talent too. She loved writing essays and short stories in school. While other children played outside, she could often be found with a pencil and paper, creating new adventures. Her imagination was like a bright light that no difficulty could dim. Even at this young age, Rowling understood the power of stories. Stories could make people feel happy, brave, or hopeful. They could take someone out of a difficult day and bring them into a new world. And she dreamed that one day, maybe, her own stories could do the same. Her childhood was not perfect. There were ordinary problems: arguments at home, small disappointments, and challenges in school. But Rowling had something special, a spark of imagination that could not be taken away. That spark would grow, slowly, quietly, until it became a flame that would change the world. Every story she wrote, every imaginary character she created, was practice. Every small story was a lesson in patience, creativity, and courage. Even as a child, Rowling learned something important. To imagine is to hope. And hope, she realized, is the beginning of every great journey. By the time she grew older, that little girl who wrote stories for her sister would have hundreds of ideas in her mind. Some were adventures, some were magical worlds, and one very special idea: a young wizard boy named Harry Potter would stay with her forever. Childhood dreams often seem small. They can feel like whispers that no one notices. But for Rowling, those dreams were the first steps toward something extraordinary. They were the beginning of a story that would inspire millions of people around the world. Chapter 3: Struggles of Growing Up. As J.K. Rowling grew older, life became harder. Her teenage years were not easy. At home, her mother became seriously ill. Seeing someone you love in pain is one of the hardest things a young person can experience. Rowling felt helpless, afraid, and often very sad. Her family also faced difficulties. Money was tight, and arguments sometimes filled the small house. Friends came and went, and school was not always welcoming. Sometimes Rowling felt like the weight of the world was on her small shoulders. She wondered how she could ever follow her dreams when life seemed so heavy. But even in these dark times, Rowling had a secret place where she felt safe. That place was writing. Whenever she could, she would take out a notebook and write her stories. Words became her escape. They gave her comfort, a way to imagine a world where problems could be solved, where characters could be brave, and where magic could happen. Writing was not just fun. It was her light in the dark. When everything around her felt uncertain, her stories reminded her that there was hope. She could create a world that was better, kinder, and full of possibilities. Every page she wrote helped her feel a little stronger, a little braver, and a little more ready to face her real life. Her teachers noticed her talent, but more importantly, Rowling noticed herself. She realized that even when life is hard, there is always something you can hold on to. For her, it was imagination and words. They reminded her that darkness does not last forever. Small lights, like her writing, can shine even in the worst times. During these years, Rowling also began thinking about the kind of stories she wanted to tell. She dreamed of magical worlds and brave characters who could face impossible challenges. These stories were not just fantasies, they were lessons. They were ways to practice courage, hope, and resilience in her own life. Even when she felt lonely or sad, Rowling never stopped writing. Each story was a small victory over fear, sadness, and doubt. And these victories added up. They prepared her for a future where she would face even greater challenges and even greater success. Her teenage struggles taught her an important truth. Life may be hard, but hope and determination can guide you forward. For Rowling, writing was more than a hobby. It was a lifeline. It was the first sign that one day her stories could touch the lives of millions of people. Chapter 4: The Idea of Harry Potter. In 1990, J.K. Rowling was on a train traveling from Manchester to London. She had a notebook with her, but she was not thinking about writing a big story yet. She was watching the passing fields, lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, an idea appeared in her mind, clear and exciting. She imagined a young boy who did not know he was a wizard, living in a small, ordinary world, only to discover magic, friendship, and adventure. Rowling could see Harry Potter as if he were standing right in front of her. She saw his messy hair, his round glasses, and his curious eyes. She imagined the magical school, Hogwarts, with its moving staircases, enchanted classrooms, and hidden secrets. The idea thrilled her, and for the first time in a long while, her heart felt light and full of hope. But excitement came with doubt. Could she really write such a story? Could anyone publish it? She worried that people might laugh, that her ideas were too strange or too simple. Sometimes her mind filled with questions. Am I good enough? Will anyone care about a boy wizard? Despite her doubts, Rowling began writing. She wrote whenever she could, on scraps of paper, in cafes, on trains, and late at night at home. Every free minute became a chance to bring Harry Potter to life. Writing was still her safe place, her small light in a sometimes difficult life. Rowling had a routine. She carried notebooks everywhere, jotting down ideas, character names, and magical spells. Even when she felt tired, discouraged, or unsure, she returned to her notebooks. She knew that if she kept writing, the story could grow. Slowly, her vision became more real with each sentence she wrote. At first, the story was rough. Some sentences were awkward, some ideas did not work, and she erased many pages. But Rowling understood something very important. Progress is made one small step at a time. Every word she wrote was a step closer to her dream. This train journey, that spark of imagination, changed everything. Rowling realized that magic is not just in her stories. It is in her courage to imagine, to create, and to keep going even when the world seems uncertain. And so, the boy wizard named Harry Potter came into existence. Not in the hands of readers yet, not in books on shelves, but in the heart and mind of a woman who refused to give up on her dream. From that moment, J.K. Rowling knew she had a story that could inspire, teach, and bring joy. If only she continued to write. Chapter 5. Hardship and Poverty. After finishing her studies, J.K. Rowling moved to Portugal to teach English. She married, hoping for a happy and stable life. But her marriage did not last. It ended, leaving her heartbroken and alone. Soon after, she returned to the United Kingdom as a single mother with her baby daughter Jessica. Life in the UK was very difficult. She had little money and no steady home. Some days, she could not even afford food. She had to rely on government help, the kindness of strangers, and the occasional small job. Every day was a struggle. Along with poverty, Rowling faced depression. She felt lonely, afraid, and often overwhelmed. Nights were long and dark, and she sometimes wondered how she could survive. Her dreams of becoming a writer seemed impossible. She was carrying a heavy weight, both in her heart and in her life. But in the middle of all this hardship, Rowling found something that kept her alive: writing. She carried notebooks wherever she went. In cafes, libraries, or even on park benches, she wrote whenever she could. Her imagination became her safe place, her way to escape the problems around her. Each word, each sentence, reminded her that she had control over something: her ideas and her creativity. Writing gave her strength. It was not an easy path, and it did not solve her money problems, but it kept her hope alive. She continued to develop her story about a boy wizard, Harry Potter. Even on her hardest days, the magical world she imagined gave her courage to keep moving forward. Through poverty, heartbreak, and loneliness, Rowling learned a vital lesson. Small steps can lead to big change. Each day, she wrote a little. She took one step closer to her dream. Her hardships made her stronger, more patient, and determined. This chapter of her life shows that even when everything seems lost, dreams can survive. And for Rowling, writing was not just a hobby, it was her lifeline. It reminded her that hope, courage, and creativity can exist even in the darkest times. Chapter 6. Rejections and no. After years of writing, J.K. Rowling finally finished the first draft of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. She was excited and nervous. She believed in her story, but she knew it might not be easy to get published. She sent the manuscript to publishers, hoping someone would see the magic in her words. But what happened next was not what she expected. One publisher after another sent her a polite letter. Each letter said no. Some explained they didn't think the story would sell. Others gave no reason at all. The pile of rejection letters grew larger on her table. Rowling felt her confidence shake. Doubt crept in like a shadow. Maybe I'm not good enough, she thought. Maybe my story is not worth reading. Maybe I will never be a writer. The fear of failure was strong, and the world outside still felt heavy with her daily struggles. But Rowling did not give up. Even when the letters piled high, she continued to believe in her story. She revised her manuscript, read it aloud, and made small improvements. She knew that rejection was part of the journey. Each no was a test of her patience and courage. Rowling's determination came from a simple truth she had learned during her hardest times. Small steps, taken every day, lead to big change. Writing a page, finishing a chapter, or sending a manuscript again were her steps. She refused to let fear or doubt stop her. Finally, after many months, a small publisher said, yes. Bloomsbury agreed to publish Harry Potter. Rowling felt a mix of relief, joy, and disbelief. Her story, which had survived poverty, heartbreak, and self-doubt, would finally reach readers. This period of rejection teaches an important lesson. Failure is not the end. Each no is a step toward success if you keep going. Rowling could have given up, but she chose to keep believing in her story and in herself. Through the pile of letters and the moments of doubt, Rowling learned that persistence, courage, and hope are stronger than any rejection. She kept writing, kept dreaming, and ultimately, her determination changed her life forever. Chapter 7. The First Yes. After many months of rejection letters, J.K. Rowling finally received one that changed everything. Bloomsbury, a small publisher in London, wrote back with a single word that felt like magic. Yes. They agreed to publish Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The publisher was cautious. They printed only a small number of copies, unsure if anyone would buy the book. But for Rowling, it did not matter. The important thing was that her story, the boy wizard she had imagined on a train years ago, would finally exist in the real world. Rowling read through the printed book with her daughter, Jessica, by her side. When she finished, Jessica clapped her small hands, full of excitement. "You did it, Mum," she said. For a moment, all the struggles, rejections, and sleepless nights seemed worth it. The little girl in the picture of her daughter reminded Rowling of the little girl she once was, full of imagination and dreams. The moment was emotional. Tears filled Rowling's eyes. She remembered the hard days of poverty, the nights when she had no money, and the long hours of writing in cafes and libraries. She thought about all the no letters she had received. And now, her dream was real. A small book, with her name on it, would go into the hands of readers. Rowling also understood something important. Success does not always arrive in a big, shining moment. Sometimes it begins small, quietly, like a seed waiting to grow. The first print run was small, but it was enough to start a journey that would change her life forever. She continued to write every day, adding ideas and imagining new adventures for Harry and his friends. Her dream, once just a spark on a train journey, had started to glow. And from that small beginning, the world would soon come to know the magic of Harry Potter. This chapter shows that even the smallest yes can be the start of something extraordinary. Dreams may take time, and success may be modest at first, but the journey matters most. Rowling's perseverance, courage, and belief in her story made this moment possible, a proof that hope and persistence pay off. Chapter 8. Global Magic. After the first Harry Potter book was published, something amazing happened. Children, teenagers, and adults around the world fell in love with the story of the boy wizard. The books were translated into many languages, and soon Harry Potter was being read in homes, schools, and libraries everywhere. The magic did not stop at books. Movies were made, and fans lined up outside cinemas to watch their favorite characters come to life on the big screen. Rowling's stories inspired art, music, and even theme parks. Harry Potter had become a global phenomenon, reaching millions of people across the planet. J.K. Rowling's life changed too. She went from living in poverty, struggling to buy food and pay rent, to becoming one of the richest writers in history. Money, fame, and awards were now part of her daily life. But despite her success, Rowling never forgot the pain and struggles that shaped her. She remembered the lonely nights in cafes, the rejection letters, and the days when she wondered if she could survive. These hardships gave her empathy and humility. She often spoke about the importance of kindness, courage, and hope, lessons she had learned during her own struggles. Rowling used her influence to help charities, support education, and inspire young writers to never give up on their dreams. The story of Harry Potter shows that small beginnings can lead to global change. A young woman with a notebook and a dream, even in the darkest moments, created a world that brings joy, hope, and imagination to millions. Rowling's journey reminds us that life can change in ways we never expect. Hardship and failure do not define us. Perseverance, imagination, and courage do. The boy wizard she imagined on a train became a symbol of hope, for her and for the whole world. Chapter 9. Lessons from her life. J.K. Rowling's life teaches us many important lessons. One of the biggest lessons is that failure is not the end. She faced poverty, depression, and countless rejection letters. Many times, it would have been easier to give up. But she did not. She continued to write, one word, one page, one chapter at a time. Rejection is not final. Each no she received was not a signal to quit. It was part of the journey. Every publisher who said no brought her closer to the one who would say yes. Her story reminds us that persistence matters more than immediate success. Small steps every day can create something magical. Rowling did not write Harry Potter in a single day. She wrote a little whenever she could. She carried notebooks everywhere, practiced whenever possible, and slowly shaped the world of Hogwarts. Her story teaches us that progress often comes slowly, but steadily. These lessons apply to learning English too. Many people feel afraid to speak or make mistakes. They worry they will fail or that others will laugh. But learning a language is like writing a story. It takes small steps every day. Reading one page, learning one word, speaking one sentence. These tiny efforts add up. Soon, your English skills will grow. Just as Harry Potter grew from a small idea into a global story. Remember Rowling's words in action. Don't stop. Keep going. Your dreams are worth it. Your English is your magic. It opens doors, helps you communicate with the world, and gives you confidence. Like Rowling, you may face obstacles, doubt, or rejection. But each small effort, each sentence, each conversation is a step forward. Her life shows that dreams are built patiently, courageously, and with determination. The magic of English learning is similar. Keep reading, listening, and speaking every day. Mistakes are part of the process, just as Rowling's early drafts and rejected manuscripts were part of her success. J.K. Rowling's journey proves one truth. Even from the darkest times, with effort and belief, you can create something extraordinary. English can be your magic, and every small step brings you closer to your goals. Chapter 10. Final Reflection. The narrator speaks directly to the listener. You have heard the story of J.K. Rowling. She faced loneliness, poverty, and countless rejections. She could have given up many times, but she did not. She kept writing, kept believing, and kept taking small steps toward her dream. Now Rowling's voice joins in, soft but confident. You may feel broken today. You may have dreams that seem impossible. But remember, one word, one page, one small action. These can change your life. Just as I wrote my first story in cafes and libraries, you can take your small steps every day toward your own goals. The narrator continues. Her life teaches us that failure is not the end. Rejection is not final. Small steps, repeated patiently, build something magical. The world may not notice you at first, but your effort matters. Your courage matters. Your dream matters. Rowling adds, learning English or any new skill is like writing your own story. Mistakes are part of the journey. Every word you speak, every sentence you write, is a step closer to your magic. Don't stop. Keep going. The narrator closes with a gentle encouragement. No matter where you are today, remember that your life is not defined by what you have lost, or by the obstacles in front of you. You can start again. You can learn again. You can speak again. Keep learning, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Finally, a warm invitation. If you want more inspiring stories that help you learn English step by step, subscribe to English Echo Stories. Together, we will explore journeys of courage, hope, and determination. Every story is a chance to practice your English and feel inspired. Click subscribe and start your new chapter today. The screen fades with hope, showing Rowling smiling, writing in her notebook, and looking at the world she helped create. The narrator's last words linger. Every ending can be a beginning. Every challenge can be a lesson. And every small step can lead to something extraordinary. Join us, and let's grow together.